Regan here with another edition of the Regan Rant for March the 25th, 2010. And today I want to talk a little bit about one of my favorite wrestling games of all time, Fire Pro Wrestling Returns for the Sony PlayStation 2. Anyone who knows me, and I've written my top, 50 wrestling games of all time column. It was last year, I believe it was. And the number one game that I listed as my number one favorite wrestling game of all time was Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. And today I'm going to tell you why I think Fire Pro Wrestling Returns still is, to this day, the greatest wrestling game ever made. First of all, the number one reason why I enjoy the game, besides the gameplay, is the roster. With 250 guys, just on the disc wrestlers. Then when you can add over 500 creator wrestlers, and just based on that, and the ability that you have to download the dudes from, on my game save, I have dudes from WCW, from ECW, from the current WWE roster, from the current TNA roster, and then I have legends to fill in that disc. So I have an entire 750 dudes in one game, and that's just simply amazing to me. That right there is enough for me to put Fire Pro Wrestling Returns as a great wrestling game. But then when you add the rock solid gameplay, now I know it's 2D graphics. I know a lot of people are used to the SmackDown series with the 3D graphics, and they're wonderful. I enjoy the SmackDown series, but ultimately, Fire Pro Wrestling Returns does so many things right with its gameplay, how it's timing, it's skill-based, how each of the wrestlers have their moves, and it has a good representation of how they wrestle in real life. And then when you go the extra step and you go into the depth of the game, you can actually program the AI for your creative wrestler and have them wrestle like they do in real life, which is, again, something that they haven't really given to you in the SmackDown series. They've given it to you a little bit, but not in a way that Fire Pro Wrestling Returns has and the Fire Pro series has in general. Another thing that I am really, really happy with Fire Pro Wrestling Returns is the create modes. You can create a ring, which is something that we've asked as WWE fans for the SmackDown series for how long now, and it's still not in the series. So maybe 2011, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, maybe that will be one of the things they add this year. But Fire Pro Wrestling Returns has it, and that game was released, 2006? Also has a creator referee. Again, something that the WWE thing does not have. Create a belt. Something that the WWE series had, but it wasn't very good, so they took it out. Fire Pro Wrestling Returns has it. In general, it's just a great game, and it's really a testament to the Fire Pro series in general, is because when I first got into Fire Pro, it was with the Sega Saturn version of Six Man Scramble, which, by the way, if you are interested in any of these Fire Pro games, you can download movies, you can watch movies, you can view the screenshots that we have, and view the roster that we have on the Wrestling Game Database. That's what it's for, so be sure to check that out. Fire Pro Wrestling Six Man Scramble, Fire Pro Wrestling Returns, Fire Pro Wrestling G, and Fire Pro Wrestling Z for the PlayStation 2. But anyway, that's something that the Fire Pro Wrestling series has been known for over the years, since the Sega Saturn was released. And it's what's been known for it for me, and one of the things that makes Fire Pro Wrestling Returns so great for me and why I have it number one is simply because the amount of time that you can get from playing that game and dedicate to that game, and it's all worthwhile. For example, Fire Pro Wrestling Six Man Scramble for the Sega Saturn. I bought the game. It was out for about 6 months, 7 months before I got it for the Sega Saturn. It was in for it, and back then there wasn't really any wrestling game websites at all. In fact, the only way I found out about Fire Pro Wrestling Six Man Scramble is that they used to have a old news group, All Games Wrestling, and people were talking how great Fire Pro Wrestling Six Man Scramble was, and how it's the greatest wrestling game ever, and it has all these guys: Undertaker, Hogan, the Road Warriors, Vader, and I wanted to try it out. So